Hi, hello, welcome back to myArbitration. We are here in Hong Kong to cover the ICCA Congress, and this time together with our friend Andrew Mackenzie. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Victoria.
So together with the Scottish Arbitration Centre, Andrew hosted the last ICCA Congress, and now we're here in Hong Kong to check out this year's. Andrew, tonight at the opening cocktails, who should we be speaking to?
Yeah, well, we're here now in the Grand Hyatt, one of the hotels, looking down on the convention centre and out across the bay in Hong Kong. But tonight we're off to the Rosewood, where, as you say, there'll be the opening ceremony and the welcome reception. And I think we should focus on some of the people involved in organising the Congress, including those at the HKIAC, but also those involved in the committee, such as my good friend and Scotsman, Justin D'Agostino, the programme committee, so Audley Shepherd and Xian Bao, as well as maybe the hosts of the next Congress in Madrid.
I'm very excited about that. What do you think can we expect of tonight? Will there be music, dancing, drinking?
Well, they're not giving much away, so we'll have to find out. But I'm guessing there'll be some music, maybe some speeches too, though.
All right, well, I'm very excited. Can't wait to see that.
Victoria's Harbour.
Hi, Harbour. Victoria Peak right behind us. And we're headed over to the Rosewood for the opening reception.
Yeah, so we're going to see who is at the opening ceremony, what music, entertainment they're going to provide. Then for the welcome reception, we're hoping to catch up with some of the organisers of this event and some of the delegates.
We're very excited. I look forward to being indoors. This is not a boat outfit.
Goodbye.
We're here finally at the venue at the Rosewood, and we're going to speak with Justin about being at ICCA. Justin, hi.
Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to Hong Kong. So we're up to about 1,350 registrations. They're still climbing. I don't know where everyone's coming from, but it's fantastic. And we had a target of about 1,000, so we're really, really pleased. And people have come in from all over the world. It's fantastic.
And what are we going to see tonight? Because we're going to have the opening ceremony. Have you got anything you can tell us at this point?
Wait. I think I'm coming in through a plume of smoke. That's all I'm prepared to say. I said cut the dry ice. They refused. But anyway, so there's a bit of dry ice, a fabulous singer, little electric violin, a few things going on. Yeah, you'll enjoy it. No pipers, I'm afraid. Although there are lots of pipers in Hong Kong. But anyway, not for tonight. So we're doing the whole opening reception here. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful hotels in the world. Fabulous views on Hong Kong's Victoria Harbour. It's really spectacular. So we're here, opening ceremony, and then tomorrow, the start of the Congress over at the Convention Centre. And we just hope we've got enough space for everyone. I think we do.
Justin D'Agostino, you're on the board. Can you explain a little bit for people who are not as knowledgeable as Andrew? What was your role? What did you contribute?
Well, I'm co-chair of the host committee this year, so similar role to the one Andrew had for Edinburgh. But I've been in Hong Kong for 15 years, and what was lovely was 2 years ago, well, less than 2 years ago in Edinburgh. Edinburgh's my home city, my birth city, and Hong Kong's now where I live. So I picked up the baton for Hong Kong from Edinburgh. That was a really fabulous turn of events. But I've been here a long time. I came out here to set up Herbert Smith Freehill's arbitration practice 15 years ago, and haven't looked back really. I love living in Asia, and I love Hong Kong.
Great. Well, I love Hong Kong, what I've seen from it so far, and I cannot wait to see more about the Congress.
Great. We'll have a great time and enjoy all the hospitality it's got to offer.
Now we have Amanda Lee with us, speaker at the ICCA Congress this year. What will you be speaking about?
Well, I will be moderating a panel on working in an adversarial environment. It's going to be exciting.
And when's the panel?
The panel is on Tuesday. It's the last plenary session before the end of the day when everybody heads off to the gala dinner.
So what issues will you be discussing on this panel?
Well, we're going to be looking at working in an adversarial environment through the lens of donut economics.
Okay. Tell me more about donut economics.
Well, donut economics is a very exciting economic theory from a renegade economist, a self-described renegade economist, called Kate Raworth. And the idea, which is something that may appeal to you, Andrew, as a greener arbitration fan, not because you're a donut fan, that wasn't what I was trying to suggest. The idea of donut economics is that there is a certain minimum level of needs that must be met, and there is a maximum ceiling of resources available to meet those needs. If we fail to meet those needs, we are falling into the big donut hole, and if we are exceeding the resources available, we are falling outside. So the donut is the sweet goodness in which we need to exist.
So you're saying that your panel is the sweet goodness of the Congress?
Sweet goodness, and if you come to the panel, well, there may even be actual donuts.
Okay, you've persuaded me.
Actual donuts.
You know, when I saw you, I got inspired. I want to do something, I want to build a community in mainland China as well. I want to share how we young, generation, we started in, international arbitration mood first, because a lot of Chinese students right now, law students, they participate in this mood and then like FDI moods, and I start with FDI moot court. And I think it is really important that we need to know that we can have the opportunity to get involved into international arbitration. It's not just, really far away from us. Also, like you talk about diversity a lot, and me as a really young woman, and I feel like I'm really, really grateful because you always, can keep do what you done, and you let us to see what kind of, female role model to us, and I really appreciate that.
I'm gonna cry now.
No!
Thank you. That's so sweet.
What is Law Rocks? Law Rocks is now a global charity that has given away $7 million just through making law firms create bands, and then we do gigs in iconic cities like Hong Kong, Singapore, New York, LA, London, Paris, and then we just give all the money away.
And who are the bands? I mean, who makes up the bands?
They are all from law firms. So it is partners, it is EAs. There is one global law firm band. The dynamic is amazing. The lead of the band is an EA, and she tells all the partners what they should be doing. The drummer is head of security for this, which kind of angry sticks, with apologies to any drummers out there, by the way. It's a really good, wholesome thing that we do, and people get to have a good time and raise money, which is a lot easier than walking up Kilimanjaro.
So any viewers who want to support the charities, what kind of charities does the money go to, and how can they get involved?
We like to steer our money towards children's charities. So between Damien and I, we have 7. Is that right? Yeah. So we have 12 kids between us. Not between us. That would be ridiculous. That's a lot of adoption. So we like to steer it to. We think that children need a slightly bigger hand than other.
Because you move around and have gigs in different cities, you quite often focus on a local charity.
Yeah, so when we do our gigs for the IBA, for example, we always choose a local charity. We give half to the local charity, which is generally aimed towards children, and half to the IBA Human Rights Institute, which we think is just a first-class initiative.
So we're here with Bridget McCormack. We've just been to the opening ceremony of ICCA 2024. But Bridget, you've got some news. What is your news?
The news is ICCA 2028 will be in San Francisco, and the ICDR and CalArb work together on the San Francisco bid, and we're very, very excited to host ICCA 2028.
So congratulations. It'll have been a bit of work so far.
It has been a lot of work so far, but work we've enjoyed because we feel pretty strongly that San Francisco will be a wonderful place to host ICCA in 2028. That the technology sector, which is obviously globally important, and every other sector is now a technology company, is only up and to the right with respect to commercial arbitration, international commercial arbitration. Yeah. And so we're pretty excited to have as an organizing event for the tech industry this Congress.
For anyone who doesn't know how much the bidding process involves in terms of work, Andrew, you certainly know, can you maybe share a little bit about how much work goes into preparing for ICCA Congress even at that stage?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew knows as well as I do, and or maybe better because you've been on the other side of it already as well. But I will say, up until now, we partnered with CalArb, the ICDR partnered with CalArb, and we had a robust committee. We met weekly. We went to San Francisco and scoped out all of our venues, not just the Congress venues, but also the social event venues, and got commitments about all of those. We put together, obviously, the preliminary bid. When we were passed on for the final bidding process, we had to up our effort and met weekly for many more months. And then the last couple of weeks, we've been meeting most days, including lots of practice for our bid presentation over the last few days here in Hong Kong.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I certainly look forward to being there. I'm
Yes.
sure you do as well.
Yes, very much. Can't wait to be back.
Yeah, looking forward to having you both there.
Okay. What would you say about those cities and organizations that bid? Why do they bid to host this event?
Well, it's an immense privilege hosting the ICCA Congress. As we heard again from the stage this evening, it is regarded as the Olympics of arbitration. There's no exercise involved, obviously, but it's a huge event. It's great in you can promote your seat all around the world, but there's nothing like bringing everyone to come and see you, to showcase what you've got, to let them understand how you operate as a jurisdiction. And it creates, I think, a huge amount of goodwill hosting an ICCA Congress.
And do you feel that it did benefit Scotland?
It absolutely did.
All right, and now here we are with Chan Bao. Chan, you've been on the program committee.
I have.
Can you share a little bit about what work went into this and what we can expect from arbitration as a human endeavor?
Thank you very much for the question. Arbitration, the human endeavor, is a passion project of me and Audley Shepard, my co-chair. When we were thinking about the concept that we wanted for ICCA Hong Kong, there was a whole host of things that we could do. But when it came down to it, we were fundamentally passionate about what we as humans, as imperfect as we are, bring to international arbitration. And so we wanted to take this 2.5 days to explore that.
This is really exciting. Do you have any panels that you're specifically excited about?
To say, I mean, as I would say, I'm excited about all of them equally.
Right.
We have injected an interesting concept called donut economics into the well-being panel, which I think will be quite interesting and introduce this new feature to international arbitration. But we're also looking at everything, every player, every feature, and the arbitrator, the advocate, and then potentially AI from the human perspective. And so we're not talking about process. We're talking about how people engage with each other. And so that is the thread that I'm passionate and most excited about. So it's not one, but it's just the common thread that I hope that you'll see throughout each of the sessions.
One of the great things about the ICCA Congress is that some people have to bid to speak. That means that it's not just the usual suspects, the great and the good, that get to be on the stage at what is the most prestigious arbitration congress there is. So to what extent were you involved in that process, and can you explain a bit about that?
Yes, well, thank you for that question. As you know, or maybe you don't know, because actually it's not a terribly open process in the way of not everybody knows on LinkedIn or looking at the website that there is a process, but the process is that everyone has the opportunity to put in an expression of interest. And this year we were particularly keen to look very closely at each of them and craft a program that comprised of intergenerational, intercultural. We were not looking simply at the idea of diversity, which obviously is important, but we were really looking at integrating different ideas, different perspectives, different generations, all sorts of things. And so each panel was carefully crafted in that way.
And people were applying to be part of that. I mean, can you give us an idea of the sort of scale of that and what people have to do to apply?
So we had about over 300 applications, of which, we couldn't only take a small percentage of it. And so there were some amazing applications, but really the point is to do it and to apply. I mean, it really is important because you don't get noticed unless you put your hand up and do something meaningful. And we read all of them very closely, not just us, but all of the program committee members. And so it is really important for you to be included by making the effort and engaging with the process.
Yeah, I think that is important, but I also think what ICCA does by having that process means that you do get that more diverse approach to panel selection, and I think that's great. But it's a lot of work to be part of that.
It is a lot of work, for sure, but it's so amazing to discover new talent. Yeah. I mean, that's the cool thing about what we do, and all these people we've never heard about. I hope that you have seen in our program there are lots of people that you've never heard about, and we really took a leap of faith for people who I think deserve it.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great initiative. Congratulations on what has been a great event so far, but we've still got a few days to go, so good luck with it all. Thank you very much, Jen. Thank you.